How is it going, guys? I hope you guys are having a great Saturday so far. And I just gotta say, Tokyo Ghoul chapter 122. Excellent job. I thoroughly enjoyed this chapter that came out, and I think Ashita did an amazing job with the conversation that took place between Kaneki and Toka. It really felt like it was true to their characters and the way that they act and just how their personalities are. I think that it was handled very well and very maturely. I really enjoyed it, and I just want to start off with this question for you guys. Did this conversation meet your expectations, or did you just have so high expectations that nothing that Ashita could have done would have just matched whatever you imagined within your head? Or did you feel like it was a little underwhelming? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. I would love to hear what you guys have to think. But all I have to say is, before I delve into the review of this chapter, I love talking with you guys down in the comments, and I love also just how passionate a lot of you guys are, you know, being like Token confirmed, and then also just talk about Mutsuki and just all this other stuff. It really makes, you know, me talking about these chapters a lot of fun, but I just love talking with you guys down in the comments. It's a lot of fun, so shout out to all of you guys down in the comments. You guys are amazing, and I love talking with you guys. So for this review, there are 4 main things I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about the cover page, you know, the Kaneki and Toka conversation. We got to talk about that. But then also Furuta and the Ogai moment that we had within this chapter. But then that cliffhanger of Mutsuki showing up to Cafe Ri, confronting Toka and Kaneki, and oh my god, you know shit's about to go down since Mutsuki showed up, because right now she is batshit crazy, and right now she is after her man that she believes is her man, but you know, a lot of people would say otherwise. So I am really looking forward just to delve into this chapter. I read it a few more times and I took some notes, and the first thing that comes to my mind from this chapter is calm before the storm. And the reason I say this is because this whole conversation arc that we've been having has kind of been very happy, very tranquil in a way, and having a lot of these characters, you know, having their moments to shine with a lot of these built up moments and like built up character development that has been built up since the beginning of Tokyo Ghoul. Kaneki, Amon, Akira, Toka, and a lot of these other supporting characters are starting to get shine and starting to interact with these characters that have affected their lives so far throughout the story of Tokyo Ghoul. And I say calm before the storm is because the way that this chapter ends, with the whole thing going on with Furuta and the Ogai, and then also Mutsuki showing up, you know that Ashita has tragedy planned on coming up very soon. There's never a happy moment that stays happy within Tokyo Ghoul, and you know that some tragedy is about to strike, and I know a lot of people are bracing for impact right now. I am too. I just love the story that Ashita is about to tell us, and I am just can't wait to see what type of tragedy is about to unfold upon us. So just to start off with this review, I got to talk about this cover page right here, because there's a lot of debate going on right now actually on this cover page, because we have Toka drawn very beautifully, very well developed. Oh man. But I love the dialogue that it says right down here saying, bloom me a flower of my own. And the main conversation that a lot of people are having about this cover page deals with the bottom right hand corner that has this blood red stain at the bottom, and a lot of people are speculating, like, does this mean that Toka's gonna die, or does this have anything to do with, you know, virginity talk that's been going on between Kaneki and Toka? Personally, I can't answer that question because I'm not Ashita. I can't call up Ashita and be like, hey Ashita, what's the foreshadowing and symbolism going on in this cover page? But my personal opinion, and just where I side in that conversation, I would probably lean it towards, you know, I don't want Toka to die, so I would possibly say that this has to deal with, you know, the whole virginity talk between Kaneki and Toka, and maybe even like the popping of the cherry in a way, because we all know Kaneki is a virgin, and most likely Toka is as well, so that's where I stand on that. So moving forward from that, I just want to delve into the Toka and Kaneki conversation, because I love how this was handled. It was done very maturely, and just how these characters, I believe, would actually interact with Toka bringing up the conversation starter of, hey Kaneki, are you a virgin? And I love how after Kaneki has spilled out all of his coffee onto the floor, and Toka's like, hey, you gonna clean that up? He just continues throughout the entire conversation to drink from his empty coffee cup, because he just wants to avoid this conversation altogether, because this is a very personal topic for Kaneki, and we know Kaneki to be a very shy and introverted person, and Toka to be very blunt and just very open with whatever it is she wants to talk about. That's just how these characters act, and just to see how Kaneki, within his mind, is just thinking about, like, why is Toka bringing this up, I think is just very funny, and it's just very true to how Kaneki, I think he would handle this type of situation, you know, talking to Toka. And I absolutely love the interactions that we get to see them, you know, having about this conversations, but eventually they kind of delve into a separate conversation after that, you know, talking about how Toka brings up the fact that you've been leaving me on the sidelines recently. You know, you've been bringing Nishiki and Tsukiyama out in the battlefields, but yet you haven't been doing anything with me. And this brings up an excellent point too, because this is going all the way back to the events of all of Tokyo Ghoul. And I love the flashbacks that we get within this chapter, because what they end up talking about is, you know, Toka was always at the forefront of every battle, every skirmish that took place within Tokyo Ghoul, early part 1. But then, so what we kind of had was Kaneki would be in the background. Toka would always have to come in and try to save his ass, and then, you know, he would just be constantly trying to catch up with everyone else. And then that middle part in Tokyo Ghoul Part 1 to where everything shifted, you know, Kaneki gets tortured, he ends up coming back and saving Toka, and now we have a role reversal to where Kaneki is the badass, you know, going out on the front lines, doing everything, while Toka is trying to catch up with everyone else. And I love the fact that Toka brings this up in this conversation, because a lot of people have been thinking about that, and it kind of brings Part 1 as a whole into perspective, because if you look at it like this, it makes all the events kind of click and make sense overall. So if you guys get upset with the fact that kind of like, you know, Toka got less and less shine in the second parts of Tokyo Ghoul, it makes sense when you hear it in this conversation between these two characters, and it overall just makes sense to me. But, you know, they end up talking some more, and, you know, I just absolutely love how this conversation ends, you know, with, you know, them talking about how when he was Heisei, and, you know, how he would kind of like look at Toka kind of lovingly. And even though his memories and emotions were locked away, they were still there bubbling to the surface. So I think that's also something very cool that got brought up within this conversation. And I also like the fact that Toka was just basically blunt with him and just basically said, well, whenever you're ready, I'm ready to do it with you. So good job, Toka, right there. Like, damn. So the conversation gets abruptly ended because we have Tsukiyama come in, and then we're basically going right towards the troll himself and seeing into what shenanigans Furuta has gotten into this time. So now we move over to Furuta, who is taking public executions now to a whole new level, because when we see him, he's standing on top of a mound of dead ghoul bodies. He has the Ogai spread out in front of him, holding up severed heads, laughing maniacally as he's preaching to the citizens of Tokyo that he's eradicating every last ghoul, every last infestation of ghoul kind is going to be exterminated, and the crowd has nothing to worry about, and they're basically cheering him on. They're so glad about this, and all we can see is Ui in the back right here, basically looking defeated, and I feel bad for the man because he had so many opportunities to see through Furuta's lies, and he has not acted on them, and right now he's just caught between a rock and a hard place, because Furuta is basically dangling Hairu's head as blackmail in a way, kind of like blackmailing into helping him, because it's like, hey, I can bring your friend back to life. So he doesn't really know what he needs to do right now, and I think it baffles me even more that the media and a lot of people within Tokyo are okay with this public, like, display that Furuta is currently doing, where he has all these ghouls basically lined up dead in front of this crowd, and people are like, yeah, he's doing a pretty good job right now. And the fact that he has middle school fan clubs and middle school fangirls like cheering him on is just like, oh my god, this man's ego is gonna get so bloated, it's not even funny. And this brings up the topic of conversation, because we do know that there are ghoul sympathizers ever since Eto released that book, and, you know, a good example of that being the Great Wheel Act. So there's probably going to be a division within the community of, like, you know, pro-ghouls, anti-ghouls, and eventually all that's going to come to a head as well. And I'm really, really looking forward to see how that plays out in this plan that Furuta currently has, because this plan and this public display that Furuta has currently done, you know, exterminating Goat's third base, Kaneki right now has to tell everyone to stay on the move. We have to abandon all of our bases, and we're going to have to constantly be on the move right now and set up secret meetings to where we're kind of staying ahead of Furuta and trying to plan around whatever Furuta is currently doing at the moment. And so the last moment of this chapter basically deals with, you know, everyone leaving Cafe Ri. We have Irimi and Koma basically, you know, arguing back and forth. They are basically a married couple right now within this within Tokyo Ghoul, which I absolutely find hilarious. And we're just basically left with Toka and Kaneki. Kaneki approaching Toka, basically saying, "You're coming with me," and she's like, "Of course. Let me just close down the shop." And then we're just left with this cliffhanger of Mutsuki just entering the cafe at, like, just on a Sunday afternoon stroll, just like, "Hey, senpai," and it's like, oh my god, I'm like, holy shit. if you saw my live reaction to this, I was like, there's no way that this is happening right now, because we do know that Mitsuki has this thing for Kaneki / Heise, and that she does have a grudge against Toka. And right now we have Kaneki, Toka, and Mitsuki in the same room together, and right now we already know that Mitsuki is batshit insane, and that she is going to try to kill Toka as soon as she gets the chance. So I honestly thought that this whole confrontation was going to be happening a couple chapters from now. Like, I thought maybe 10, possibly 20 chapters from now, but I think Ashido is probably just like, they think that's coming later. You guys thought wrong, and just prepare your butts, because this is going to be a bumpy ride. So I know we're gonna have 2 weeks to wait for this, but I am just like, holy shit. We have the Battle of the Waifus right now, and this has been built up since chapter 114, ever since it was revealed that Mitsuki secretly loved Heise / Kaneki, and yet she has this grudge against Toka. So to see where this battle is about to go down, and you know, there's so many like possible circumstances that could happen between these three characters. You know, someone could die, everyone could basically survive. We have no idea how this is going to happen, but I think this is the start of the storm and the start of the tragedy that is about to come. And I will definitely make a separate video discussing more in depth about the Mitsuki, Kaneki, and Toka confrontation that we're going to be having. So that way we have this little conversation before the chapter comes back in 2 weeks, which I'm really looking forward to. But overall, guys, this was an excellent chapter of Tokyo Ghoul Re. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you guys did as well, and I have thoroughly enjoyed talking with you guys down in the comments. It just adds to the experience of just reading this chapter and just getting to hear all of your thoughts, theories, and just your overall hype moments to come. Like, it's just so much fun. So I just want to thank you guys for commenting, and I'm really looking forward to talking with you guys down in the comments again of this video. So give me your thoughts overall on this chapter, and anything that I brought up in this review that you feel is like important to talk about further on. Let me know down in the comments as well. And if you guys are not subscribed yet, and if you guys have not seen my live reaction, go watch my live reaction and subscribe if you guys feel like it. I'm just like so hyped right now. So that's gonna be the end of this review, guys. I'm really looking forward to, in 2 weeks, Tokyo Ghoul Re chapter 123. That sucks. 2 weeks we gotta wait. So I am really looking forward to that, guys. So that's gonna be the end of this review. I'll talk with you guys in my next Tokyo Ghoul related discussion video. And until then, I'll see you guys later. All right, guys, see you later.